Hello, friends. Welcome to the Career Guru podcast. I am your host, Steve Yanovsky. What a glorious day it is to start your path on a new career. Doors are opening here at the Boston Career Institute even as we speak. And I'm here holding the key for you. So tune in, stay sharp, and enjoy yourself. This is going to be great. Hashtag Let's Career Up. Dum-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-dum. Greetings, everybody. Welcome to yet another installment of the Career Guru podcast. All of you conversationalists, career gurus, aspiring career gurus, thrill seekers all across the fruited plain. I am your career guru, Steve Yanovsky, and today it is my pleasure to welcome and inaugurate the 50th episode of the Career Guru podcast. Trumpets, drums, fireworks all over the place. I can barely talk past all of this stuff. But today is my pleasure to welcome not just the 50th episode, but some of my very first guests and my closest friends and, dare I say, relatives. So today I welcome Lisa Cenca, my very first co-host of the Career Guru podcast, soon to be Dr. Lisa Cenca, and my daughter Miriam, and my daughter Sara. You may remember them from previous episodes. If you don't remember them from the previous episodes, I strongly recommend that you listen to those episodes. And actually, we listened to all of them. So much great stuff. I can't even begin to tell you. We covered so much ground and yet much more to come. As long as the money doesn't run out, we're in good shape. I'm kidding. We'll keep on going until everybody listens to the Career Guru. Welcome, ladies. Say hello to the Guru Land.
Hello, Guru.
Hello. Hey, everybody. Hi.
So this is a great milestone. I really didn't know if we were going to make it this far, but we're reaching hundreds and then sometimes thousands of people during these podcasts, and we hope to reach more. We're going to be huge. I know that Joe Rogan is nervously smoking somewhere. We're catching up to him. Just 2.5 million more listeners, and I think we're in good shape. Or is it 20 million? Doesn't matter. Close enough. So today, when I invited, for example, my girls, my daughters, to join us, and Lisa, Dr. Lisa, soon to be Dr. Lisa of Harvard University, to join me, Lisa had a few stipulations. She said, "Steve, Guru, can we focus on women?" And I said, "Focus on women? Story of my life. I've been trying to focus on them for such a long time. I don't know. But in the professional sense, we're definitely going to focus on this." And before I turn my mic over to all of you, I'm gladly having some time talking about women, especially women who influenced me in particular, namely my grandma and my own mom, who were instrumental in shaping me who I am today. Yes, my father made me a man, but my grandma and my mom made me, well, guru that I am. Yes, I'd love to talk and focus on women, especially the women of great accomplishment. And I mean that with all sincerity. And of course, Lisa, since you're the most seasoned of the ladies here, let's start with you. Please reintroduce yourself and let's talk a little bit about strong women and what does that mean?
Sure. So first, I want to say congratulations, Steve, for making it to 50 podcasts. Those that have been listening, your avid listeners, know that I was the first guest or co-host with you when you kicked
Co-host.
this off. And at the time, we were doing some work together at Boston Career Institute. And we had such a great time when we did that first podcast, just getting this started. So it's such an honor to be asked back at this 50th um, mile marker. And also total honor to be invited back with two amazing women who are on this podcast with us. Um, yes, both of these women are your daughters, but also, I just want to uplift the fact that their path, their trajectory, their professional trajectory has been so interesting and so amazing that it's so great to have them on because, as you know, Steve, life doesn't go in a straight line. It's
Amen
often,
to that.
right, very zigzag. We go left, we go right, we discover, we learn, we change, we evolve, and ultimately we come to a point. It's never the end. It's just the journey. And why I love being on this podcast with your two daughters is that they have achieved so much, but in a very non-traditional way, which I think is inspiring for your listeners because sometimes people, especially women, because we often have this sense of perfectionism, there's some ideal thing we have to get to. But when other women and other listeners see that it's the journey and it doesn't have to be a straight arrow, and often it's not. So I just want to just uplift your two daughters because they're going to have a chance to tell their story, and I'm their greatest fan. So, and then I'll just share a little bit about my story, so that your listeners can kind of also know I have a kind of weird trajectory as well. So I'm from a immigrant background. My mom is a Italian immigrant, and I'm a first gen. And actually, kind of grew up with with very very humble beginnings. My own grandmother was illiterate for her entire life, and only two generations later, I'm graduating from Harvard with my second advanced degree, which is a something that almost seemed impossible. If you would have told me that growing up as a little girl in Cleveland, um, I would have never believed that that could happen. And in fact, my own guidance counselor told me, I don't think you should apply to college, Lisa, because um, I don't think your parents can afford it, nor do I think you can make it. Okay. So that is something that I want to put out there for those listeners that sometimes the people around them might not be uplifting their dreams and hopes, but everything is possible with the belief in yourself and through the grace of God that we can achieve our dreams and hopes. And it does not have to look like anyone else's. So here I am at mid career finishing my doctorate at Harvard Graduate School of Education in April. And my work is all around celebrating and uplifting women, mostly in education, but all women, uh, to help them get on this amazing path to their reaching their dreams. And so that's it. I've talked a long time. So that's a little bit about my story. And I hope your daughters can also share a little bit about their stories and how they got to where they are now, um, on a sort of zigzag path.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear that. And I'll tell you, I think you and I had the same guidance counselor. So in high school. So yeah, thank you so much, Lisa. That was great. We'll come back to you too. I have a few more things possibly if we don't run out of time. Let's get to Miriam. Miriam, tell us who you are and how you got to be where you are today. Take it away.
Well, first of all, I wanted to say thank you to Lisa for such a warm and kind introduction. I could not say better things about Lisa. She's a phenomenal individual and incredibly talented and wise. And looking forward to hearing great news from you and your defense of your dissertation. We're very excited about that. Um, my story's a little bit interesting as well. I don't think it's quite as interesting as yours, to be quite honest, but um, I'm also a first generation American. My parents are immigrants as well, came to America when they were young. And I actually never graduated from high school, believe it or not. I got my GED. I left high school at the end of my 11th grade year and decided to get my GED. I took a little gap year and then went straight into Boston Career Institute actually for my medical assisting certification. I did that over the summer, and right after that, jumped right into nursing school. I was 18 at the time and was the youngest member of my class in nursing school. I wasn't quite sure what I was doing, this being my first time in higher education. I was very confused about how to learn, how to study. The classes were confusing to me. And I remember a time where the dean of education actually told me, "You're never going to graduate from here. You don't have what it takes." And I have classmates that I heard talking behind my back also saying the exact same thing. Well, lo and behold, 2 years later, I proved everybody wrong and told them, "Nah, I'm graduating from here and moving on to bigger and better things." So I did graduate with my registered nurse license. And since then, I have had a couple of nursing jobs, but my current nursing job is in addiction medicine. I am the charge nurse over here and I'm in nursing leadership. I manage the nurses in my facility. I do work on the units and work with the patients a lot, but I mostly manage my staff and provide education and do lots of other great things in nursing leadership. So that's my story.
Don't forget to add that you're a mother of two and a wife and
Yes,
all
I
those
am a
other
wife and
wonderful,
a mother
important
of
things.
2. I have a 3-year-old daughter and a 10-month-old son, which all of those things together really keeps me on my toes, that's for sure. So I'm busy a lot.
I would just love to add to Miriam right here, just if I could say one thing, Steve. Something that's just so, I think it's going to be a thread for all of us is that traditional, or what is considered normative pathway, did not work for any of us. We all said, "Oh, really? You don't think I'm going to make it?" But guess what? We did. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
I just love that you shared that part of your story, Miriam, because people that are listening may see themselves in your exact story. Maybe they didn't have the guidance in high school, or maybe they didn't take these science courses that everybody says they have to take, and they think there's no way for me to become a nurse or in the medical field. But you are demonstrating there is a way, and it can be an alternative pathway, which is amazing. So thanks for sharing that. Huge,
Thank
huge.
you. Yeah. No,
Yes.
that's also why I did wanna share that part of the story because I absolutely agree. There's so many people in the world that are, uh, hearing this feedback from either their superiors, their teachers, their guidance counselors, whoever it is. People are walking around saying, "Oh, you don't have what it takes to accomplish your dreams." But you have to believe that you in fact do, that you have to push through and persevere and only listen to what your gut tells you. And if you think you can do this, you can do this and don't listen to what anybody else says.
Mm, love
Great,
it.
phenomenal. So, listen, before I introduce my youngest daughter, Sarah, I want to sort of preface this by a little story about the guru. Some of you may or may not know. In 2024, the guru decided right to run for public office. And amazingly enough, I got on the ballot and actually participated in a political campaign. Now, my political mentor is another amazing woman who I hope to have very soon on the podcast. She unfortunately couldn't make it today, Dr. Jessica Shanahan, or Flynn, at this point in time. She is a absolutely magnificent person. You want to talk about a non-traditional pathway to great heights? This is Dr. Shanahan. She is absolutely phenomenal. So, in any case, but she was also my political inspiration, and she handled a lot of my stuff that I had no idea about. And one of the things that I had no idea about, some of you may or may not know, but the guru has a problem with a calendar. We don't. Sometimes I wonder how I find my way around the world, but I do. And things tend to work out eventually. So one time I left town and I was supposed to go to this political event, and I forgot that I had to go there. And so I called my daughter Sarah and said, "Sarah, you got to go and you got to speak for your dad." That was the kickoff to my campaign. Now, so I wasn't there. And my daughter says, "Fine, I'll go." So she had no idea where she was going, but she went to this big event, I don't know, a couple of hundred people, I don't know, 100 plus, I don't know, a lot of people, and she had to represent me. So after that performance, Dr. Shanahan gave Sara a nickname. It's the Stud. Sara is the Stud. Coming from
Accurate.
coming from Dr. Shanahan, that was quite a statement. And I concur, because in reality, what happened was, and I'll let Sara talk about this. Sara is absolutely tremendous. Not that anybody else here is not tremendous, but this young lady is also unbelievable. So now that I've embarrassed her plenty, I'm going to let Sara share her story, and I'm going to chime in if she misses something. Okay,
Hold on
Sara?
one
Yes?
second. Steve, could I just also add something to your intro for Sara?
Sure.
So Sara has been, uh, right now, her role at BCI, she's a, would we call, is her title lead instructor?
No, she's a program director.
Program director. Please
Yeah.
forgive me, Sara. Sorry. But while I was at BCI and working on some incredible work for accreditation at the school, um, Sara was working, and we had some shifts in personnel. And this young woman at that time, literally without any experience in management, rose right to leadership. She gathered people around her. She said, we can keep going without missing a beat. So I want to also add to her awesomeness how she was able to pivot, move, and just uh, think on her feet, and also inspire all of the students in the dental program at BCI. She's literally, like, she's just amazing. Every time I get an email that says, "Sara has accomplished this accreditation. Sara is doing this." I cannot believe how she has moved to this leadership. It's just natural in her, and she's unafraid. And I just want to name that, because that is incredible. And so, on top of what you said she did in a political arena, I just want to say, in her field, how she has been able to do that pivot with like almost no guidance. She just went forward. So I want to also give her a
Exactly.
huge, huge kudos.
As Dr. Shanahan said, a stud. Okay, stud, take it away.
Exactly.
Wow. Wow. What a beautiful introduction. Thank you, Guru and Lisa. I'm like blushing over here. I don't even know what to do with myself. So sweet. Thank you so much. I don't know if I would go as far as stud, but I appreciate the kind words. Um, what is my story? Well, I would like to say I would like to start off by saying that thank God I didn't have to go through any of the same issues that Lisa and Miriam had to experience, with people putting them down. Thank God I was surrounded by people who uplifted me and inspired me. Those people, including my incredible older sister Miriam, and of course Lisa, and all the other incredible women in my life. And I had so much inspiration. So much like Miriam, my story begins at the end of 11th grade. I had enough, with high school. I was ready to move on with my life. And I got my GED at the end of 11th grade. And from there, I really didn't know what I was doing with my life. And I was 18 years old, and my father said, "Why don't you try out the dental assisting program? See if you like it, and if you enjoy it, you can go from there." So I said, "Okay, I'll try it out." I had nothing to lose. I didn't have any other plans. I was just figuring out my life. So I said, "Okay." And I went to the dental assisting program here in BCI. I think that was the first time I ever came on to this podcast. I was still a student here, and I was talking about my experience as a student and, what it was like as a student here in BCI. And, obviously times have changed. A couple years have passed since then. I got my certification in dental assisting. I worked an internship, and then I took a gap year, just like my older sister did. And I came back and I worked in pediatric dental assisting for a little while. And then
there was a situation that happened here at BCI with our instructor that was here at the time. She was having some health issues, and they really needed some help with the dental assisting program. So I offered my assistance, and I came to cover a couple classes. And I was just coming in, a couple times a week to um, help out as much as I can and cover the students that were there and didn't have an instructor at the time. And happened to be that the students really enjoyed me and gave very positive feedback. And I was asked to stay here full time. So it wasn't my original intention to come in and just work in dental assisting. I thought I was just going to work as a dental assistant for a little while and then go to school and continue my education. But I kind of ended up here teaching, and I started working here full time. And, thank God, um, little by little, I worked and I learned and I built my skills. And situation kind of shifted here, and I ended up as the program director of the dental assisting program. And that is where I am now.
That's amazing. Now, I also want to sort of chime in and say that in the process of learning and developing, you also managed to pass several national certifications, as you learned, as you excelled. Um, Tell us about what certifications you picked up.
So I picked up the medical assisting certification, the sterile processing certification, and the Danby certification. So I became a certified dental assistant, CDA.
So, nationally certified, all of these things are national certifications. And a lot of times, for many people, these are lifetime achievements. And this is something that you have done. And this is something that I hope, well, not I hope, I know that you're inspiring your students right now in this regard. To be able to achieve this in such a short period of time is nothing short of amazing. So I concur with Dr. Shanahan in her description of you, a stud.
Thank you.
The career guru, also your father, is extremely proud of all of his daughters. Sons are not too shabby either, but thank the good Lord, extremely proud of my girls. And I also want to say that these careers are financially and spiritually, emotionally, and otherwise rewarding. Seeing that your students are moving from one, um, how should I say, what do you call it, tax bracket to another, and reducing the amount of time they spend working and just excelling is amazing. Or in your case, Miriam, being able to go from a staff nurse to a charge nurse, what was it, in less than a year? Or maybe
Yep.
just in less than a year. This is just, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I am, and again, all of this for young women, extremely important. The financial security and ability to not necessarily be the breadwinner, but certainly to be a person who can be one. And these skilled based educational programs, which lead to licensure and certification, are key. And even though, for example, my grandmother was a chemist, an industrial chemist, and she came from a very small village in Ukraine, and her parents were massacred when she was just 8 years old, and she was an orphan with other kids. And for her to go from one place to another and to develop these skills and certifications, that's what saved her family and herself during World War II. So these are all key things, and she imbued the same spirit of. And she, why am I mentioning that? Because in reality, what she wanted to be was just a wife and a mother, but life was such that she couldn't be just that. She had to become who she became. Um, my mother herself, who became at one point in time the most well-known and respected dress designer in Boston, and she went from an immigrant And after 2 years of living in the United States, 3 years, was able to open the most fashionable, most prestigious bridal shop on Newbury Street, which for people who don't know Boston, it's the street, for these places. And her clients included the governors of Massachusetts, their wives, obviously, even people like Mick Jagger and the Saudi crown prince. He came to see my mom. And this is all from skills that she attained as a young woman. Maybe she would have preferred to be a wife and a mother. Not that that's not enough, but life, as we talked in the beginning, as Lisa pointed out, is not always a straight path. And so being able to step in, step up, step out of your comfort zone, when people laughed at my mom when she said, I'm going to open up on Newbury Street in a year, the same detractors, same people, same guidance counselors, just be happy with your little tailor shop. Okay? You'll never make it. Don't listen to those people. Stay away from those people. Sometimes they're the closest people to you, and they mean well. They may not just want you to get hurt, but it's okay. Don't be afraid. Get out there, get up, do it. You want to be a wife and a mother, it's great. It's a most wonderful thing. My wife, a college graduate and a businesswoman at some point in time when she had Miriam, she said, you know what, I'm not going back to work. I want to be a stay-home mom. And she did that for quite a few years. But then at some point in time, she stepped out and she did what she had to do. So it's a phenomenal thing. And BCI does nothing but empower the women who come here. Most of our student body are women. A lot of them are immigrants, and some have just unbelievable stories, which I plan to bring to the Career Guru podcast soon. There are some absolutely incredible, incredible young women of strength and valor. And I hope they're going to be listening to this and take into consideration what Sarah and Miriam talked about, what you said, Lisa, and become empowered to move forward and to make a positive claim, not just for themselves, but for their children.
Yes. I wonder if I might just add a couple words on the end of that,
Of
Steve,
course, of
because
course. It's
um,
it's all yours.
no, I really I love that. I love what you're uplifting today, and I want to also thank Sarah and Miriam for their stories, because as we share stories, we actually empower others. So sometimes what we might feel most ashamed of, in my old life, before realizing how important it is to share my story, I might not have said, gosh, my grandmother was illiterate. I grew up, in a pretty humble beginnings with an immigrant family. But now I know that that story is my superpower. Sharing that story helps other women see themselves. And they say, if she can do it, I can do it. And so both Miriam and Sarah shared very non-traditional pathways. Both of them kind of in high school were feeling like, hey, I don't know, this doesn't feel right for me. And both of them found alternative ways to find success and discover their superpowers. And so I want to just encourage those that are listening that finding a pathway to economic mobility might seem really, really difficult, or I don't have all the pieces. But listening to these women on this podcast who took a non traditional pathway through BCI and achieved incredible success professionally is something that I want everyone who's listening to this podcast to hear. And just like you said, Steve, whatever is your goal, if you listen to the naysayers around you, you'll never get there, because those norms and standards are set by a certain group of people in the world that pathway works for. But for the rest of us who don't fit into that box, finding alternative pathways is possible. And these two women right here on this podcast are demonstrating that not just is possible, they can reach the, being this high level nurse, being a program director at a large health facility, school in Boston. Like, seriously, what they've done is amazing. And all your listeners can do it too. So this is just
No
like a
doubt.
huge encouragement for
No
everyone.
doubt. No doubt. Well, that's amazing. Well, my dear friends, ladies, thank you so very much. It's been a blessing to speak to all of you here today, to listen to your stories once again. Um, I can't wait for us to meet for our 100th episode sometime very soon, and share some more stories of great success and bring some more strong, amazing women on board to share their stories. And with that, it's the Career Guru signing off. God bless you all, and talk to you soon.
Well, friends and aspiring career gurus, this was fun. Thank you for tuning in. I feel enlightened, I feel empowered, and I'm feeling grateful that we spend time with you. For more information about Boston Career Institute, please visit our website, bostoncareer.org. Boston Career Institute has 3 campuses located in Brookline, Massachusetts, Malden, Massachusetts, and Lowell, Massachusetts. Call our toll-free number 888-383-6058. For questions, comments, and/or information about our podcast, email me at thecareerguru@bostoncareer.org. The Career Guru podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our website, bostoncareer.org, or wherever you stream your podcast. Subscribe, stream, rate, and review our shows. Your rating and reviews help our show reach new audiences. Produced by PodPro Entertainment, The Career Guru lives within a network of podcasts located at podproentertainment.com. #TheNewRadio. Looking forward to seeing you soon. All the best to you. My name is Sara Yanovsky. I am the Career Guru. May God bless you. #Let's Career Up.